Okay, we're all set with that, with YouTube.
Good evening, everyone. Hope all is well. I'm hoping that tonight is not going to be a long meeting. We don't have so many things on the agenda. With that, I think I'm going to ask Abraham to put up the flag.
All right.
I
Allegiance to
flag
the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
one nation,
under
under God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
justice for all.
All right, thank you, everyone. I can't really wait to have these meetings already on in person, as this Zoom thing has gone too long for so long, and I'm hoping that we can get back earlier. I know that the numbers in Nassau County and Suffolk County are really going up, as well as other parts of this country. I'm hoping that everyone's keeping safe and they're doing the proper social distancing and wearing their masks, avoiding large gatherings or gatherings that could be considered high risk. I know many people think that getting the vaccine is concerning or they're worried. I can tell you that majority of people believe that it's a safe vaccine. I personally have gotten myself my vaccine 3 weeks ago. I want to report that I already have antibodies before even getting my second shot. So it's so far it's been great. I had almost no symptoms except some sore arm for a few hours. I'm getting my second dose this week, probably either tomorrow or Thursday, depending when it's available. But I do encourage everyone, especially those who are at higher risk, to definitely consider taking the vaccine. If you have significant allergies, please consult your physician, make sure that you're okay. If you're on certain medications or during chemotherapy, please make sure that you also discuss it with your doctors to make sure that this will benefit you properly. For those who are at high risk and still have not received their vaccine, people 75 and above, or people that have underlying conditions, monoclonal antibody is now available. I can't say it's very readily available, but it is available in North Shore LIJ, Mount Sinai, Maimonides, a few of local hospitals in Brooklyn, and I'm sure other places. Please discuss it. If you do get infected within the first 72 hours, it's the time that you can actually get the monoclonal antibody, and it has saved many lives, and it significantly decreased the duration of the sickness. So again, I encourage everyone to please discuss it with your doctors. And if you have any questions, you can obviously send it to Sinai, North Shore, or Maimonides. There may be other hospitals by now that carry this monoclonal antibody. With that, I'm going to ask Abraham to start the meeting.
General, the first item on the agenda is the Building Department December 2020 report. Mr. Ramos.
Steve, you're on mute.
I apologize. We took in 22 building permit applications. We collected $29,787 in fees. We issued 16 of those 22 applications. We have 6 pending. We had 26 complaints and there were 15 violations issued. Everything was acted upon. And that is all I have to submit. Respectfully.
All right, thank you, Steve.
The next item is the Department of Public Works December 2020 report. Let's see it on your screen. This includes the total for 2020 versus 2019 miles and the diesel fuel usage as well.
Usually the December report's a little long because I try and give you a snapshot of what happened through the year. You could see that there was a little more garbage picked up from previous years. Maybe another 700 tons or so. The mileage was up a little bit, but then when you look at the highway report, you see the mileage is down a little bit. The trucks didn't go out the first 6 months of the year, or limited, they went out.
Does the mayor or any of the member of the board have any questions regarding the report?
No, I don't.
Thank you, Louis. The next item on the agenda, under the old business, we have the sign application for the property located at 570 Middle Neck Road. Mr. Haramis has an update on this. Steve, you're muted again.
This is for the 570.
570 is the next to the Dunkin' Donut, the bakery.
Oh,
that you
yeah,
want to
as
inspect.
you all know, I sent an email out to the mayor and the board as to the sign was already installed. It was not the sign that was presented to the building department. It was not the sign that was submitted before review to this board. And there was some work done on the inside. Everybody got an email on that. I'm sure everybody on the board has reviewed it. And I know a letter of violation did go out.
Has any movement been done? Have you contacted the doctor, Dr. Shore?
No, I did not because I was home in quarantine. Today was my first day back in the office, but I know a letter of violation did go out for what was wrong.
Okay, I just need to know if things are being done to cure the issues, or he has an explanation. Is he on or not really? Is he on the meeting?
I don't see him, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. So Steve, please contact him, and I just want to know, what's going on, and try to
Okay.
put these concerns to bed. Okay.
The next item on the agenda is an update on the hearing for the architectural and the facade review for the property located at 733-741 Middle Neck Road. As the mayor and the members of the board know, this applicant came in front of the board to get approval for the architectural and the facade review. The board tabled this application for the outcome of waiting for the outcome of the BZA meeting that was to be held 2 nights after the prior Board of Trustee meeting. I believe it was on the 7th. That BZA meeting was postponed. Therefore, there was no decision made on that BZA meeting. So this is just an update on it. I'm not sure if the members of the board or the mayor would like to open the hearing for it, or just an update would suffice for now.
I think we should just wait until we hear from BZA. So until then, I think I would like to continue tabling this matter. So let's just table it until the next meeting.
Okay, sure. The next item is a hearing to amend section 357-6 of the Village Code. This is related to the landscaping and gardening. I'm just going to give an overview of it. This was brought up last time as well. Basically, currently the way that the code allows for commercial landscaping and use of, let's say, commercial equipment for landscaping as well, like leaf blowers, for example. Every day during the week, 8 to 7 p.m. On Saturdays, 9 to 7, and on Sundays, 10 to 7. If the mayor and the board wishes to update the code, it would limit it to only during the week from 8 to 6.
Well, initially, does the board wish to open a public hearing on the proposed local law?
I'll move it.
Abraham, can I be heard? No. Oh, okay, was moved. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded, and therefore is all those in favor of opening a public hearing on the proposed local law to amend section 357-6, say aye.
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 And any opposed or abstentions? Hearing none, the hearing is unanimously opened. Mayor, does the board now wish to hear from the public regarding this draft local law, or any comments from the trustees? By way of placing it into the record, as Abraham mentioned a moment ago, the current code permits commercial landscaping only between 8 and 7 on weekdays, 9 to 7 on Saturdays and holidays, and 10 to 7 on Sundays. The change would make this permitted only between 8 and 6 on weekdays only. The current code also allows power equipment only between 8 and 7 on weekdays and 9 and 7 on Saturdays, Sundays, and holidays. The proposed change would permit it only between 8 and 6 on weekdays only.
Mayor, you are muted if you're trying to speak.
Hi, I'm sorry I lost some of it, but I knew the code. So does anybody from the public want to talk, or anybody from the board? Because we discussed it last time.
I have one person, David. You could unmute yourself, state your name and address for the record, please.
David Slenziker, 15 Beach Road.
Thank you.
I favor this change. I think it makes sense from the point of view of both reducing noise pollution and nuisance, and by shortening the hours of the gardener's work, it's the same thing. I think it's a general benefit, and I urge you to adopt it.
Thank you. Anyone else has any other comments to make?
Yeah, for the reasons that I stated at the last meeting, I'm against this code. I think it is limiting. I think it's cherry picking which residents we please. Some residents work on weekends and stay home on weekdays. I think that this is creating a hardship for the landscapers. And even more important, I think this is creating a hardship for homeowners who do their own yard work, who work
But it's not
during the
going to
week.
affect them.
What is it?
No, we agree we're not going to affect the homeowners. Like my friend Mr. Brownie that said he does his own landscaping. We told him it's not going to affect him. It's only affects commercial landscaping.
No, it also says operate a lawnmower or other gardening equipment which is powered by internal combustion engine by an electric motor other than between the hours of 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. on weekdays, and takes out Saturdays,
From
Sundays, and holidays.
The way we discussed it last time, it was not going to affect.
Just Deputy Mayor, if I may draw your attention to the opening paragraph under 357-6A as an apple. It's no person who is providing commercial landscaping services may do the following things.
Right.
Right, okay, yeah, so I forgot that part of it, but for the reasons that I stated, that I feel that this cherry picks on the law a little bit as to who benefits and who doesn't, so I'll be opposed to it. I would be okay with limiting the hours that they could work on weekends, but that's just my thought.
Okay. Okay, if no one else would like to make any more comments.
I don't see anybody else. Last call for comments. Just unmute yourself and state your name and address for the record if you have any comments on this matter.
Hi, Lloyd Abrani, 19 Mills
Vice
Road.
Mayor, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
Excuse me, Peter, we do have one.
I was talking.
Yeah, we have one person. Again, Mr. Abrani, just state your name and address again, please.
Hi, again, this is Lloyd Abrani, 19 North Road.
Thank you.
I as well agree with the gentleman right before me who stated it. If something is working, why do you have to change? If you want to change the law, if you want to reduce the hours on the weekends, I can understand it. Why does the hours during the day in the summer sometimes daylight is until 8 o'clock at night? Why does that have to be shortened to 6 o'clock? It just doesn't make sense. Weekends I can understand a little bit if you want to shorten the weekends a little bit. Weekdays also, it doesn't make sense.
Mr. Emrani, I don't mind actually having the hours to stay till 7, 8 to 7 on the weekdays. Let me ask Peter, do we need a new local law to do that, or can we just do this and amend it to 7 o'clock?
If the board determines that the change from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. is not material, then the board can make that amendment and go forward. Should the board feel that that is a material change in the proposed local law, it would need to be republished and revoted.
Right. So that's for the board to decide. I personally don't think it's material because it's already up to 7. I would maintain that till 7, but I would put that up to board. So I think let's just see if no one else wants to make a comment. I think I would put that up for vote and see if the people would like to make that adjustment and keep it till 7 o'clock on the weekdays and adopt that there should be no commercial landscaping on the weekends.
I'm in favor. Till 7.
So no, first we have
Mayor, would that be for both categories? Would that be for both categories, Mayor, that the commercial landscaping and the power equipment would now be 8 to 7 instead of 8 to 6?
Yes. And then I would like first, I think we should move and adopt this local law, but then second, right, Peter? And then after that or during
Well,
the same
I think the process would be for someone to move that the draft local law be amended to read 8 to 7 and that be deemed a non-material change in the proposed local law. Once that is done, the public hearing could be closed and the amended local law voted upon. Move to amend the local law. Is the second to amend the draft local law to read 8 to 7 on weekdays only?
Steve, that's what you move?
Yes, I so move it.
Okay, I second.
Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Say aye to that.
Any opposed or abstentions? Then the proposed draft local law has now been amended to read 8 to 7. Are there any comments on that proposed local law? And if not, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
Any other comments from the public? I don't see anybody, Mayor.
The only thing I would say is that I agree, with what Bart said about this, the Saturday and Sunday. If the hours were shortened, I wouldn't be averse to just shortening the hours. Making a smaller window to allow commercial gardeners to.
Join me on the nay side.
What?
You could join me on the nay side.
Well, I'm just saying, it's nice to have some quiet time, but we could just reduce the hours that they work. I'm not suggesting keeping the same hours, but just reduce the number.
But you also have to, Annie, realize, to tell them to come in for 2 hours or 3 hours, it's not worth their time.
If they had 5 hours, there's a lot of daylight.
Right, but it's not only the daylight. The reason this came up is because people who are home
would like to just have some peace and quiet and serenity. And I think to have the lawnmowers and the tree cutters and everything else around us, I understand why people want it, more limited. So I hear what you're saying to decrease it to 5 hours, but then 5 hours of 5 hours, that people are losing their peace and quiet on the weekends. I don't think it's going to affect the landscapers because there are other villages around us that do allow it and they want to go there. Obviously, they're fine. And as far as the serenity that is going to the people who live in the village, or at least majority of people, they significantly benefit from it. So I am 100% okay with keeping the time till 7 p.m. During the weekdays, but I think as far as the weekends, if we're going to do it, let people have their peace and quiet, especially during these difficult times.
I just want to add one more thing. I stressed earlier the effect this would have on landscapers. I also want to add to that this would have a restricting effect on me as a homeowner to have my landscaper come on a day that they might be available, which might push my landscaping off for a week. And I don't feel that they're on the property for all that long, that it creates such a, insurmountable disturbance. That, you're going to have 2-3 people in a row all have the same landscaper. I don't know. I mean, I just don't think.
Well, it doesn't have to be the same landscaper. It could be this landscaper, then someone gets a different landscaper. And I don't know if it's going to push your landscaping. Landscapers have to be there once a week. Now it's going to be every Tuesday, every Thursday, every Friday, every Monday. It could be any day. But
but they might be doing Brampton Road on Tuesday, and they can't get to me until Saturday or Sunday. So that's just my.
I mean, if they know they can't come in, they have to come in that week. Otherwise, they're not going to get paid for it.
Okay.
So, believe me, they make if they can come until 7 o'clock, they will come till 7 o'clock, and they'll do what they have to do. But again, it's up for a vote. I think we amended it till 7 o'clock. There's no more comments. You can go ahead and see if Peter.
I believe that there was the pending motion, which had been seconded, was to close the public hearing.
Right.
Was there a vote on that motion? Is there all those in favor of closing the public hearing on the amended local law till 7 p.m.? Say
aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstention? Hearing none, the public hearing is closed. At this time, any trustee who wishes to move the amended local law for adoption is free to make that motion.
I'll move it.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 And any opposed?
Nay.
I heard Deputy Mayor opposed. Trustee
Correct.
Mendelson, I did not hear.
I said that I would pass it.
All right. So then then all trustees are in favor with the exception of Deputy Mayor Sobel. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
I believe that is the vote.
Yes.
If the clerk would record the vote accordingly.
Very
With that,
good.
the local law is passed and we can move on to the next order of business.
If you're under a new business, we have a tent application submitted by 533 Middle Neck Roads. That's the Everfresh supermarket. If you just give me 1 moment, we'll put up the application that they submitted. The application calls for installation of the tent on February 16, and they are requesting to keep the tent up through April 7th. The tent will be in the same location that it has been in the past few years. It is a 15 by 15, the size of it, I'm sorry, it's a 30 by 30. It's a two sectional 15. It's a 30 by 30 by 8. And it will be located on the north side of the parking lot. I'm going to put up the, in just a moment, for you to see the north side of the property. It will be located in here. This is the location that they have put it in the past few years as well. Is Howard on the meeting? Howard, are you on?
I didn't see Howard on.
Yeah, I don't see him either.
What's the tent for?
It is for the storage for any items that is coming up for the upcoming holiday of Passover. They have this every year. They need a larger area for storage because they stack up on the items for the Passover. So they're putting it up. They would like to put it up. You know,
I think with best market demise imminent, that this, we should allow them to have this.
For sure.
They're very busy.
Yeah, I agree.
We need to vote.
Is the best market closing before Passover?
Yes, it is.
In February.
It's closing. They're already emptying the show.
And I
Okay,
think the application for the structure to be there from February 16 until April 7.
I don't have a problem with it. They've done it before.
We need a
7
vote.
weeks.
I'll move it.
Second.
Everybody
The
in
item having
favor?
been moved and seconded, any discussion on the motion? Sorry,
No
Peter,
discussion.
all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Peter, I just want to say for the record that the application was submitted. The fire marshals will be submitting their approval to us on Monday. So it's being approved pending the submission from the fire marshals for the tent.
Very good, sir. I think that the village has given its authorization, but it requires authorization from multiple jurisdictions, also from the fire marshal.
Correct.
So I understand that the motion contemplated approval of all other governmental agencies.
Okay.
Is that correct, Mayor?
Yes, that is right.
I heard the mayor say yes.
Yes.
Very good. Then the application is approved, subject to all other appropriate jurisdictions giving their approval.
Thank you.
the next item on the agenda is appointment of Board of Assessment Review members. The board will meet on the third Tuesday in February. That would be February 16, from 4 to 8. This is for the residents to grieve their assessment. The assessment will be ready on February 1st. It will be published on the website. Anyone who wishes to grieve their assessment, they can come either file an application, file a grievance with the village, or they can come in front of the board. Now, that is scheduled, as I mentioned, for February 16th from 4 to 8. It will be determined whether it will be in person or it will be virtual. That hasn't been decided, I believe, yet. But the members that are you're suggesting that they should be on the board are Deputy Mayor Sobel, as well as Michael Goldman, and we have another member.
And Morris
Levy.
Morris Levy.
Right.
These are,
We have also the Deputy Clerk Rivera, in case one of the members cannot come. He could be an alternate on the board.
Okay, excellent.
Respectfully, he can only substitute, however, for Deputy Mayor Sobel, because otherwise the law prohibits a majority of the membership of the Board of Assessment Review from being trustees or officers or paid employees of the village.
Okay,
Thank you for the clarification.
Is there a motion to approve this membership?
I move.
Seconded?
Second.
Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any objections or abstentions? So the appointment is unanimous.
The next item on the agenda is to schedule a hearing for a tax cap override. If approved, it will be on the next meeting on February 2nd at 7:45. Again, this is just a hearing, and even if it's passed, it does not mean that the village will actually pierce the cap. But this is something that we have done in the past few years. Just if the needs comes up, then we have it passed that we could pierce the cap, the tax cap.
Yeah, may I just supplement that? I also, as council, recommend this. This is a protective measure. This does not override your tax cap. This does not raise taxes. This is simply an authorization that should the board determine that ever become necessary, it would then have the legal authority to do so. But this local law, if passed by itself, does not increase taxes.
Thank you.
I heard a motion to set the date
Yes.
for February 2nd. Was there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed or any abstention? Hearing none, it passed unanimously.
The last item on the new business. The last item on the new business is a request for the update to the parking violation fee schedule. If the members of the board remember, a few months ago, the board voted to
The fine schedule, not the fee.
contract to go with the G Techno, that is a technology group that the members of the board voted to contract with for management of our parking violation tickets. We are going live hopefully by the beginning of February. In the past few months, we have bought the equipment, the training that was required. There will be some more training as well coming up. While we are moving to the new system, new management system, there is a fee schedule that hasn't been updated for many, many years. Many of the surrounding villages have updated their fee schedule, while the village of Braden has not.
I'm sorry, one second, it's a fine schedule, isn't it? This is not.
It's a fine schedule. I'm sorry, I keep saying a fee schedule. I'm sorry. It's yes.
Fine schedule.
It's a violation fine schedule that is being up for your review. I'm going to share that on the screen. Many of the items will remain the same. There are a few that have been changed. You could see the schedule in front of you. This is 2 pages. I can move it to the next page whenever you like.
Oh, okay.
So these are the fine schedules. You're not changing them really.
No,
Well, if you look at the
most of them are not changing, but some are.
There's some.
Yeah, switch plates, altered registration, stuff like that. Basic handicap after our stall. Right. Makes sense.
You know, I think one of the things we need to do, because few people complained, Apparently, some people have been pulled over because they say that the license plate was obstructed. And I think it has to be a more clear indication what this obstruction means, because there are people that buy the cars or lease their cars from from different company, and the license plate comes encased with that company's name. It's not really blocking anything, but they're considering it as an obstruction. I don't know if that's a state law or the village law or something that we can really have any say on, but I think that's something that has created some issues. Or bike racks. That was one of the issues that I heard.
Mayor, could I just want to, for what you're speaking about are moving violations, and these are parking violations.
And so no, right. So what I'm saying, one of the things that I just saw was obstructed license plate.
So we don't give out, yeah, we don't give out tickets for somebody having a dealer frame around their license plate. That's something that many of the
Nassau County Police does.
Nassau County Police do, but not on parked cars. They give those out for they add those on to moving violations.
So we don't give those parking violations.
Correct. It's the Nassau County.
Well, respectfully, Mayor. Whether we do or do not actually give them, currently the code in section 537-23, subdivision C, 11, prohibits parking on a street or in a public parking lot if the vehicle does not have a current and unobstructed license plate securely affixed in the location required by state law. So we do have a local violation for parking a car with an obstructed license plate.
Right,
the village may, as a matter of policy, not choose to enforce that.
No, the question is, if it's obstructed, I understand, but these logos or frames do not obstruct the license plate. It's around the license plate. But for whatever reason, Nassau County Police and sometimes New York, NYPD has issued summons and people have complained to me. I know that we have nothing to do with it, but now that I just saw it on our list, I would like to know if that is considered obstruction or that's not really an obstruction or just a loophole.
Mayor, if I could be heard on this for 1 second.
Please.
What appears here on this list is a violation of New York State Vehicle Traffic Law 402-1 for obstructed plate. The spirit of that law is for people who actually obstruct their plate intentionally with perhaps a plastic film or something that has the intention of blocking speed cameras from recording the plate properly, etc. Or if somebody otherwise puts maybe one of those bumper guards on their car and it hangs over the plate, they're not allowed to do that. In general, the spirit of the law does not encompass and never has the license plate frames that dealers put on cars. And I know that our parking enforcement does not give out tickets for those parking. And as far as I know, Nassau County Police does not give out tickets for obstructed plates on parked vehicles for parking violations. They do that. And they always get thrown out of court when somebody comes into court and proves that their license plate wasn't obstructed. But it's an annoyance, but it's an add-on to sometimes 3, 4, 5 tickets that police, local police, or Nassau County Police might issue to a motorist that's pulled over for something else. Another violation, a speed, an 1110A, which is a failure to obey a traffic control device. While the officer has them pulled over, they just keep writing tickets. So they'll issue for those.
All right. Thanks for clarification, Bart.
Yeah.
Okay. Abraham, you want to go back to the list?
Sure, I'm going to put it up. Also, there was another item that the board might want to consider. Currently, after 30 days, when a ticket is issued, it doubles in 30 days and it triples in 60 days. And then after 90 days, there is a fee of $30 added to it, and it sits on the books till the violators would pay for it. Now, there is a proposal, and if the board would like to consider it, after passing this, to, instead of doubling and tripling it in 30 days and 60 days, it would be 50% added after the 30 days to the fine, after 30 days, and then any month after, there would be only 10% of the original fine amount that would be added to the fine amount. That means, for example, if there's a ticket for $50, after 30 days, it would be $75. There's a 50% added to it. And then any subsequent month, only 10% of the original amount would be added, which would be $5. And there should be a cap of when the fines would stop collecting. That's another proposal that was brought up. I'm also going to move this to the second page so you could see the second page as well.
So you're saying that the fine would go by 50% the first month, not 100%?
Correct.
50%, again, 50% of what it became by the third month, or 50% of the original one again? So if
The
let's say
50% of the amount of the fine. So let's say, for example, the amount of fine is $100. After 30 days, instead of doubling, it would be only added 50% of that, which is $50. So instead of being at 200, it will become 150.
And on the third month?
And on any subsequent month, it would be added at 10% of the original amount. So every subsequent month, it would be additional $10 added. The reason,
so only the second month it would go 50%. After that, it goes by 10%.
correct.
10% of the original.
Right.
Correct.
I mean, I can't tell
reason for-
the court, but if that's what we're doing to really help people pay the fines, I
That-
hope that they're not going to significantly reduce it again, because then that would really.
That is one of the reasons, actually. That, for example, somebody gets a ticket, and then when it doubles and triples in 30 days or 60 days, some people find it very prohibitive to even pay it, and then they ignore it, and it causes all other issues.
Right, that I understand. So and I think it's a fair way of doing it. I think going up 50%. I do believe that majority of people who do not pay their fines because either they forgot, or or they lost the ticket or something like that. Usually people, when they get a ticket, they pay it. But I'm absolutely right that, if it doubles, it's actually a huge sting. And I think it's, I like this law.
Very good. I like
Peter?
it too.
Are you, when you say you like this law, are you liking the proposal just made by the clerk, or
Yes.
are you simply adopting the currently proposed schedule? Okay, so the resolution would be to adopt this schedule of fines, and further, that such fines will be increased by 50% if unpaid more than 30 days after the fine is imposed, and with an additional 10% of the original amount added for each month thereafter that the fine goes unpaid. Is that the resolution?
Yes.
The only item that
Is that moved by the mayor?
I'm sorry,
No.
Peter, the only thing that the board would like, probably should consider is to put the cap on the amount of the additional fines that are added. let's say in 6 months, if it gets tripled by adding 10%, would that be an appropriate cap? Or if it's doubled or tripled, or there should be a cap of
I
when.
don't think it could get tripled.
I'm sorry?
I don't think it could get tripled.
Well, if you keep adding 10% every month, at some point it will get. So for example, if you have $100
Plus 10%.
if you have $100 ticket in 16 months, it will triple.
I thought it stops after.
You know, you have several things at play here, though. There are fines specified in the vehicle and traffic law. There's also discretion on the part of the village court as to what fine it's going to impose. And I'm not clear as to whether or not the board is proposing a local law change or whether it's just the schedule of fines.
This is just
you do have, for
fine.
example, an existing code provision. If you have an existing code provision that calls for violations of the code to ultimately not exceed more than $1,000 per violation. And they could theoretically, depending on what the fine is and how long it goes unpaid, go in excess of $1,000. May I suggest to the board that for tonight, it limit itself to simply updating the schedule of fines. If the board wishes to cap it, I'd like to do a little bit more research into what the current vehicle and traffic law limitations are.
Okay,
Yeah, I agree.
that's good advice. Thank you.
Okay,
Is there then I think there was a motion seconded to adopt the schedule as proposed without setting caps at this time or changing the cap at this time. Is that any further discussion on that motion?
Yep.
It's moved, seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed or any abstentions? Hearing none, the resolution is passed unanimously.
The next item on the
And
agenda.
I believe that brings us back to you, Mr. Cohen.
Thank you. The next item are the minutes of.
The abstract is next, I think.
Oh, I just added the minutes for December 15th, and then we get to the abstract. The minutes of the 12:15 meeting are on the screen. Just let me know when to go to the next page.
I'm ready. Anybody? I may be the only one ready.
okay.
Okay,
Next. Okay,
I'll move the minute.
all right, good.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I believe it was passed unanimously. And the last item of the agenda is the abstract for this upcoming Friday.
I just have a few questions.
Yes.
First of all, this is just for my own understanding. What is a central time clock? There was
So
something.
any letter that we receive, we right away timestamp it. Now the timestamp, the machine that we have goes in 7-year periods. So it unfortunately ran out at the end of 2020. So we had to actually get new plates for 20 through 2027. Okay. That's what it was. So they also brought the new ribbons and they updated the clock. Basically, it's a mechanical clock that we have.
Yeah, no, understood. Thank you. General Code 39. What was that?
That is our code that is on our website. Almost every village has it. And so it's basically an annual fee. So they update our code and we could research it online, actually. It's there's
Code.
yeah, it's the
So
village's
it
code.
comes in very handy.
Right,
Yes.
I didn't know. So number 39 just is the update, is that it?
It says there's
Annual fee, right?
What was that?
It's the annual posting fee. They host our code.
Okay, so the number 39 refers to,
I just have to look. I'm not sure what was on the abstract.
oh,
General code.
There
Oh, I
is,
see. Supplement
446.
number 39.
yeah,
I have to get back to you on that.
okay. I was just
Abraham, basically, and Annie, basically supplement 39 is they will update the code with all the local laws
Mhm.
that are passed during the year. So they will take the local laws and incorporate it into the body and the text of the code, as compared to, in the meantime, when we submit a local law, it's set off to a separate section, and then once a year they do the annual supplement, which
Oh, I
incorporates all the local laws.
this
So that's probably what that is.
got it. Okay. And then there was something about cleaning voting machines, and then it said that it was from NYSID, which is New York City Industry for the Disabled. So I was just wondering, is this industry for the disabled the ones that clean the voting machines?
That is correct. So when we rented the voting machine, we had to sign a contract with Nassau County Board of Election that before returning the voting machine, it had to be clean. Now, there were only 2 companies that they offer cleaning before returning it. And these companies hire disabled individuals that they can do the job. So that's what it was. That's why there's a disabled, or whatever the title of that company is.
NYSID. So both of the companies that do the cleaning are
Yeah.
oh, very nice. Okay. Let me just check. One other question, Louis, I'm just curious, what are Cherry Blitz wipes?
They're like wet rags that go in the trucks, but that where guys could wash their hands in the middle of a job without using water.
Oh, I see. So it's just cherry flavored, is that it?
Yeah, it's just a cherry scent.
Okay, I was just curious because, okay. Okay, I make a motion to accept the abstract.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passed unanimous. Thank you. Public comments?
If anybody has any comments, just please unmute yourself. David, I see you have your hand up. Just go ahead. Name and address for the record, please.
Thanks. David Slenzinger, 15 Beach Road. I have a couple of questions. First is to the building superintendent. The neighbors on Essex Road are still complaining about contractors at 57 Essex Road, where apparently a house was sold and there are contractors there all day long, but there's certainly no yellow permit sign up. And I'm wondering if that's been inspected.
David, I will look into it and get back to you tomorrow.
Okay. Because I know a number of the neighbors are wondering, it's going on for about 2 months. And another question, which is totally separate and for the board, I know that the requests for bids for the new village hall were due on January 15. So I'm wondering how many bids came in, and what's the number of bids that came in? That's to our clerk and our deputy clerk, who I presume are handling this.
We have received, Brian, 11 or 12 proposals.
11 proposals.
We have received 11 proposals by end of business on Friday.
Okay, and I presume as we go on, we can get some more information about that. But now on the same topic, and Abraham, you and I we've had some discussion about this. In preparing the budget for next year, and in view of the, the RFPs that have come in, what's the planning for the new Village Hall, both the erection of the new building and the planning for digitization and computerization of 100 years of records? What are the estimates? And in preparing the new budget, how are you going to pay for it? Will there have to be a new bond? Will there have to be a tax increase? Will you tap reserves? What is the current thinking, please?
Mayor, may I answer the question, or would you like to answer it?
Well, I think one of the things that we need to see, David, before we can really answer the question in an educated way, is to see what is going to be the cost of many different parts. I don't think I can tell you that we're going to have to necessarily increase the taxes. We may not need to do that. Do we need to get a bond? We may not need to do that either. As far as erecting the building, I think it has to do with how much it's going to cost and in how much money we have, and what is it that we're going to use. As we know that most of it will come to us from selling the current Village Hall. So there are different, I think, moving parts that we have to look at, and that I don't think that has been processed as of today, as we got all these proposals by Friday afternoon. They are very lengthy. Some of them are about 55 pages, and we have to look at them. We have to see what makes sense, which one of these architects will be elected to do the job, and who's going to be the developer and the builder. All those things are really important for us to know the exact cost and how we're going to actually make the decision of how we're going to pay for it. So I don't know if we can give you any proper answer today.
Do you think that the board and the current professional and your current management in Village Hall are sufficient to do all the planning, or might you need to get some help from someone good in financing or budgeting to help you figure out the whole cost for this? I mean, it sounds like a big deal, and it's the 19th of January, and you need a budget that's going to go into effect on June 1. And you know how things work. I'm really concerned how this is all going to work out. It's a lot of work. So
Right.
I don't know if you have the resources to do it.
Well, until we have properly evaluated everything that has come to us, I don't think I'm at a position to say if we are or we are not in a position to make those determinations as far as if we are, we do have enough personnel or the proper personnel or not. And if we do need to get H2M, or we need to get the different parties to come or hire someone, those are the things that we need to evaluate after we actually go through the proper process. I don't think we've done that, so I can't tell you if we need or we do not need to hire someone else to do the financial analysis yet.
As for financing, there are many options available, including partial bond, partial funding with other revenue sources, etc.
Right.
And one more thing that I've
I
discussed.
think, by the way, I just want to say, sound municipal finance would dictate that building a village hall that's going to last for the next 50 years or more would properly call for at least partially being bonded, so that the cost is spread out over the residents who will be living here and getting use out of it for its lifetime. So.
Well, that sounds like a very good idea. And another question that I'd raised with Abraham, but of course I haven't raised it before the board, is in the term, with regard to the records and the digitization and so on, are there not grants that the village might get, either for the state or foundations, or even for all I know, some of the big companies like, IBM or Hewlett Packard or Cisco or, Xerox that do this sort of thing might have certain incentives or other things like that. I would only hope that the village might explore this and apply for them.
May I answer that, Mayor?
Yes, please.
So we are looking into that. I haven't found anywhere that they still offer any grants or anything to the village. But one thing to have in mind is that we have to pay prevailing wages as a municipality. And the last time that we got a price to digitize all the papers that we have in the building department, we got a quote of $228,000. Unfortunately, because of COVID, this was pushed off for now, but this is something that the village will be looking at it more closely. But again, we have to pay prevailing wages when it comes to any municipal job. And again, as I mentioned, I haven't found any place that they offer us any grant or anything for that. But it's not like there is, if it's a free market for municipalities that they can go out and give it to the lowest bidder. We have to pay the prevailing wages, and there are not so many companies out there that we can hire to do the turning all the documents into to digitize everything as well.
Well,
So
thank you. And that's what I mean. This is a big deal. And I am somewhat concerned that this may be a bigger deal than you folks are able to handle right now. Those are all my questions. Thank you.
Abraham, there used to be a grant called the Sarah Grant for digitization. I don't know if it's available anymore, though. I think they might have stopped that grant for municipalities.
Correct. That was maybe between 5 and 10 years ago they were doing that.
Yeah, so that's no longer available, but we can look into some other options.
Yep.
If anybody else from the public has anything to say, please unmute yourself and state your name and address for the record. Going once, going twice. I don't see any other hands raised. Oh.
Yeah, I wanted to just ask one question, and that was regarding the LED crossing signs for in front of Everfresh. Can an update on that?
The polls just came in on Thursday or Friday. I had to order a special square stock instead of a channel pole or a round pole that was square.
Okay.
So they just came in this week.
And the LED signs are here?
Yeah, I have all that in stock already. Yep.
Okay. And we have a power source, or are they solar powered?
Solar. And the other thing, I spoke with the mayor last week on, I got 4 LED stop signs. I think we were going to put 2 of them over by Forest Row and Hicks Lane. So we have to make a decision where the other 2 are going to be, unless you want to put all 4 of them at that location.
I don't think it's necessary to put all 4 there. I think that's the only one area that is necessary. I think we need to look maybe around the school. I think that's one of the areas that I've heard people.
I was thinking, if you do the school, Mayor, if you do the traffic circle at the school, then if you ordered 2 more, then that would take care of that whole traffic circle at the school.
Right. So I don't know if that's the area that we have a lot of complaints about.
Well, I'm sure the school would be happy for that, and it will make Polo a little bit more safe. I know it seems that we've been getting a lot, well, not my department, but we've been getting a lot of calls with the speeding by the school when we put up new speed signs, and maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea to order 2 more of the stop signs and put them at the traffic circle there.
Right, it may be. Let me ask you another thing. Louis, did we get the lights on Baker and Middle Neck Road, the one that was knocked down? That got fixed already?
I don't think they put that pole up yet, no.
Not yet?
The light pole that went down on Middle Neck you're talking about.
Right. That
I
was
don't-
like a month ago.
Yeah. They didn't fix that light yet, no.
And Abraham did the LED lights that we ordered, and I know that there was some mix-up. Did we get those LED lights?
The nodes just came in today.
And what about the lights?
The light itself, Brian has been in contact with them to send the correct specification. We are still waiting for the contractor to send us, I'm sorry, for the manufacturer to give us the correct spec. So we send it to our contractor that puts it up to make sure that it is in fact correct make and model.
So what does that mean? So we still have not given them the correct made and model, or we have?
No,
they gave us a spec once, and we went to the contractor, and the contractor, you know, every time that you get an email from one of them, you forward it to the next one, it takes them a couple of days to respond. And they checked it and they said the specs are not the ones that they have. The contractor gave us the specs that they need, and Brian has been in contact with the manufacturer, and manufacturer said Sunday, when this afternoon he actually responded. Brian, do you remember the email that he sent?
Yeah, he said he should have the specs by tomorrow, Wednesday, the latest. So the issue is that they gave us the wrong specs for what we need, Mayor. So that's what Anchor told us. So if we had just ordered what they gave us, we would have been in another situation where we ordered the wrong lights. So we didn't want. So I want to get the correct specs before we do place the order.
Wow. So it's
Yeah.
still going to kick us back for a few more weeks then.
Yeah, so it's been going back and forth in terms of getting the specs, getting it to the contractor getting back to us if that was the right specs, and then telling the manufacturer this is the actual specs that we need.
So by tomorrow, you think we're going to have the specs?
That's what they told me. Once I have the specs, and I could verify that's what the Anchor told us that we need, I could sign off on the specs and have them work on getting us the shipment.
Let me ask you another question. The specs that we are getting from them today, are the specs for every light in the village? Or I should say every side street light in the village?
For the side street lights, correct.
Right. So if we do need more lights, we don't have to go through this whole
correct.
process.
Yeah, and especially now also that we know the lights, what the specs are for the main roads and for the side streets, we wouldn't have to go through this process again.
That's how much I love bureaucracy. There you go. Okay.
We love you too, Mayor.
Yeah. Okay, Brian, it wasn't directed to you. It was just a bureaucracy.
I know. Just a little joke.
Don't take it personal. Don't take it personal. Okay. Is there any other things that we need to discuss? I just, you know what, if there's nothing else, I just wanted to actually have an advice of counsel on something. If we can just go into advice of counsel.
So just
You need a motion for that?
I make the move to go to advice of counsel.
Second.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, give me 1 second, please, to stop the meeting. I mean, not the meeting, the YouTube.